Hello and welcome to another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. I am LaWanna Bradford and I'm excited because today we have a very special guest joining us. And before I get into introducing him, where are you standing right now if you're a business owner and entrepreneur in this time of disruption? I'm certain if you're like me, you're kind of wondering what's going on. How do I position myself? Should I pivot? Is my vision still my vision? I get it. That's where we all find ourselves. And this is just the I don't even like using the word new normal, but this is the environment that we're sitting in. And it's real important to build community collaboration to help navigate this journey that is very foreign to many of us. We're not meant to walk alone. And I want to have you think about what I just said as I get into a deep dive conversation with none other than the amazing Phil Taylor. Phil Taylor is an author, a speaker. He is a purpose-driven leader and the founder of Goal Achievers Summit. And we're going to get into a conversation about what is Goal Achievers, why now, and how you can tap into this movement. Yes, you heard me right. I'm calling it a movement. We'll be back in just a moment for none other than Phil Taylor. How's it going, Phil?
Grateful. Thank you so much, LaWanna. What a joy and a privilege it is to spend time with you and your listeners. Been so looking forward to that.
Thank you for saying yes, taking time out of your busy schedule. So you've picked up, you've given birth to this amazing idea movement called Goal Achievers. And I understand that it officially launched at the end of 2025 in Orlando, and it's positioned where you're actually rotating or touring, if you will, around the US. And before we go into the places and spaces that you and your team are showing up in, I want, if you don't mind, just taking us through what is Goal Achievers? What is your number one mission? Because if you remember during the introduction, I called it a movement. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us what was your vision coming up with this, and how did you even get it kicked off the ground?
Yeah, the Bible says that without a vision, the people perish. And this is just a vision that was placed on my heart by the grace of God to empower entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, purpose-driven individuals to optimize their effectiveness in their world and in their business and in their environment. And I really believe that entrepreneurs are a creative, powerful force. And they take different forms in different ways. You can be an entrepreneur even within the framework of a corporation, and that's termed being an intrapreneur, where you reach certain benchmarks. You could be an entrepreneur in so many ways, and really, I believe that we are just touching and scratching the surface of the potential that we've been given. So it's a platform, a forum to bring people together who are purpose-driven, who know they have a lot more to offer than what's being delivered, really, and to fan that flame. And so it's a coalition of thought leaders and the people whom we serve, who are the souls and seats, the most important people in that room. And I don't know if that answers that question, but yes. It's the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, of what we
Yeah, I love that. And today we're talking about beyond the goal, building a life of impact. And I think what you just said is definitely a springboard into that. You mentioned that it's a platform where purpose-driven individuals come together. Yes. So I'm gonna give you a little challenge here. We hear a lot of people talking about purpose, and we have purpose strategists and life coaches. Everyone is helping people, quote unquote, find their purpose.
Yes.
Who's to say, Phil, that their purpose was ever lost?
That's a good point. a very, very good point. I never heard it put that way, but what a beautiful perspective. We
So
are.
what I'm wondering with what you said, as far as how God gave you this vision for goal achievers, is it possible? And,
Yes.
and I really would like your perspective, professional perspective, spiritual perspective, however you like to take this. Is it possible that we have already been designed, beautifully created,
Oh, yes.
with a purpose for this point in time, but because of our as we go through this lived experience and the ash and trash that comes our way, and maybe the picking up the FOMO, fear of missing out,
Yes.
we start to question what we knew inherently was always our place to be. And hence we start following,
Yes.
with the Pied Piper effect,
Yes.
and actually losing ourselves,
Yeah.
and trying to find something that was already there, never left.
Amen. Amen. Uh, that is so loaded with truth that excites me, and I don't know where to begin. As a premise, I can't hide, nor do I desire to hide where I get my direction and where my foundation is, and it's just personally mine and the choice that I've made for myself. But I find my strength and my direction from God above, and He's given us a guide to live our lives in such a manner that brings out the best in who we are, and that's called the Bible. So I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because it is the power of God into salvation. And yet this is a business show, and it's a business platform for entrepreneurs and purpose driven individuals. So we try to focus on really helping entrepreneurs and everybody from every walk of life, from every gender, sexual orientation, political leniences, whatever you are. The gates are wide open, and we are here to serve you in terms of the gifts that you have been given. I really believe with all my heart, as I look at this wonderful guide for life, the Bible, which is, I think, an acronym. What is that acronym? Wonderful acronym that evades me, but it's really an instructing book for us to live life to the optimal. But it says that God knew you before the foundations of the earth, before all these trees behind me were created, or the sky above, or the ocean and the fish in the ocean and the birds of the sky and the mountains, and everything that we see. God knew you, and He knew you intimately. And the Bible says that He knows you so intimately that He knows every count of the hair on your head. And so the purpose is there, and He designed us to live a life that is full and meaningful. My master says that He has come to give you life, and life more abundantly, that the thief comes to steal, to kill, to destroy, but I have come to give you life, and life more abundantly. And you're saying, Phil, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person, now you're talking more like a preacher or a theologian. It's interesting. I went to Bible college, but I didn't quite make it. I got kicked out of Bible college going 40 years ago. And basically the reason was, you're just not cut out to be a missionary or a preacher or a pastor. We're trying to focus on other people. And little do I know that 40 years later, that God had a different plan, which was to be in business and to particularly focus on helping individuals in the realm of business to find, and well, not to find it, to really understand who they are as individuals, to really understand how gifted and how precious they are. And then on a very practical means, find ways to help them use those gifts so that they can serve others, enjoy the abundance of life, and to bring joy to others, and ultimately make this world a better place to live in on the most pragmatic, practical um, level of things, if that makes sense.
Yes, I love that. And if we're on the same page with the acronym for Bible, basic instruction before
There
leaving
we go.
earth.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you come up as my backup. Thank you. I had a brain freeze there for a moment. Beautiful. Thank you, LaWanna, for
Yeah,
bringing that.
and what I love about that, and to our listening audience, this isn't about what your faith is, but
Yes.
this is tapping into ancient wisdom. There are some inherent truths,
Yes.
universal laws
Yes.
that I don't care what you do, they just are.
Yes.
So tapping into truth, applying those applications into your life so you can be the best that you were intended for this space and time. And what I understand is Goal Achievers allows this type of conversation. As you said, it's a business summit for entrepreneurs, business owners, not necessarily a Christian based, but because the founder happens to be a man of faith, I think that's just part of the values are going to bubble up. It's just going to be there. You can't hide it. And the one thing that I want to say, and I'd like to toss this over to you, is who said we have to divide ourselves? I mean, that to me is kind of a schizophrenic way of walking through life. When I go to work, I'm this way, and then when I come back, then I put on my cloak of faith. It's like they're woven together. They're linked. You can't separate because it affects how you believe, how you treat others, right? Your value system, all of that is tied to whatever you say is your truth. Phil, what do you think about that?
Oh, that's loaded, and I pray that the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart is pleasing to God. And you brought out a really interesting point, and for out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You see, and I think when you squeeze a person, what's in their heart comes out. And so while other people are shameless about things that I don't think really make a positive impact, how can I be ashamed of the very source of life for me and the cause for my joy and my peace and my hope that is eternal? So I shamelessly share. How can I be ashamed of this great news, the good news? And yet we also want to have open arms for everybody. You don't have to be of a certain faith to come into the rooms of Goal Achievers Summit. We love you, we value you, and you could be an individual of any faith, even an atheist for that matter, and you are very, very welcome. Our aim, our goal in a very practical way is to help you with your business, with the gifts and skills that you have, to optimize that so that you can be of greater impact in this world, if that makes any sense. And I don't know if that answers the question, but no,
Yeah.
I don't think you can separate the two. I hope that I'm not an imposition. I don't want to be nauseating to people. That's not my goal. But if you ask me for the hope that's within, I can't help but answer that. And even my master says, let therefore your light shine before others, that they may glorify your Father who's in heaven. So the light that we have, the hope that we have, it's not designed to walk around with a lampshade on it, so to speak, or to hide it, but to, in a very natural way, share it with others. And so some people will receive it well, others may not. But that is the hope of glory and the joy of my source and the reason for doing what we do.
I love that. And when you were talking, I was thinking about this song from years ago, maybe 20 years ago, and it's titled "Jesus, You're the Center of My Joy."
Yeah.
And I think it's seated in gratitude, right? And knowing that there's things bigger than ourselves. There's
Yeah.
something bigger, and that we are here to do more, not just be so inwardly focused that we're no earthly good
Yeah.
to people. And I see that's what Goal Achievers helps business owners do, and empowering them, because when you think about small businesses, yeah, we focus on, the big corporations, legacy companies, but the heartbeat of the economy,
Yes.
where most employees are fed from, is that small business.
Yes.
They shape our communities. They provide the choices that we have within our communities, the legacies that we can pass on to our children. So the
Yes.
pulse of that small business owner is so vital for the continuity and sustainability of our communities, right? And the global intersects that we have. It's not always, major corporation to major corporation. It's where the people sit. And they sit in these small clusters called small businesses and entrepreneurship.
That is so true. I don't know the exact, I'll have to look it up, but we know that the majority of employees come from the small business sector and not conglomerates. We think of the big businesses, the Fortune 500s and so forth, and we think, well, those are the ones that are really the heartbeat of the country. But as you so eloquently said, LaWanna, the heartbeat of business is in the small business communities, and so vital, so important. And that's what America and Free Enterprise has been built on, and what a joy it is to be able to have the freedom to impart our gifts to others in this manner.
I want to read you, when you said that, I pulled up some quick stats, and this is quite interesting, that 99.9% of all U.S. businesses are small business.
99%?
99%.
99%?
99. There are 36.2 million small businesses in the U.S.
Wow.
Accounting for 43.5% of the GDP.
My, oh my. I knew it was well over around 80%, but I did not know it was to that extent. And so I just, wow, what a
gift. And it says, this is a quote, while large corporations dominate headlines, nearly half of all private sector employees in America, 45.9%, or more than 62 million people, work for small businesses.
Isn't that something? Which just reflects what you said, and you've got the stats to back it up. And and in my own broken way, I try to mirror that in my words. But definitely, that's how important small business are.
And I think and correct me if I'm wrong, what Goal Achiever allows, again, even though it's a collective and iron sharpening iron, but it also helps to spotlight the stories, the successes of small businesses and entrepreneurs, because they aren't getting, on main platforms. We're not hearing it. Of course, you will hear nighttime news. They'll give a quick, we've got a 30-second or 1 minute. Let's tell you what's going on in the world, in small marketplace USA. But there's not enough attention given to the success and to some of the struggles that small businesses have endured and are currently enduring.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. These Fortune 500 companies, where did they start? They started on kitchen tables.
Yes.
Jeff Bezos with Amazon started on his kitchen table, packing books. Microsoft started in a garage with both Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. We can go Netflix. People look at Netflix and what a great idea, what an overnight success. But it took years and years, well over a decade, before it reached its quote overnight success. And so story after story, it starts with a seed and a thought, and it goes way back, to that.
And I love what you said, because we tend to, look at big business. We may be intimidated by it, especially the legacy companies. But as you just said, they all started as a small business. They started as a seed, as a thought, as an idea, and they dared to take the challenge.
That's right.
And one of my favorites is Disney, and how they have reinvented themselves over and over and over again, and are still leading in that reimagined world. And I'd like to ask you, because one of the things one of your pillars is vision and mindset of goal achievers. Yeah. And in this world of rapid change, whether it's AI shifting faces of the future of work, the international divide and or compromise that we're experiencing, how can individuals begin to reimagine themselves and redesign their lanes that they're in, and not be so wedded to this is how it's always done, right? Because I believe that if you stay wedded to the past, You may be on your way to becoming obsolete. So we don't want to have a lot of dodo birds running around, right? We're looking to create sustainability. What could you say to individuals that are wondering, how can I sustain?
Yeah. So again, a loaded question, packed with power. I think entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and I think a lot of powerful ideas and solutions started with a problem, and then that entrepreneur, it haunted that entrepreneur, and they found a solution to it. You see it all the time on Shark Tanks. These wonderful ideas that emerge out of problems. So I think that's one of the starting points in terms of creativity. What problem are you seeing in your business and life that is that needs to be addressed or could be done better? And I believe that we're just tapping into a very small percentage of our creative resources, and so creativity is definitely the starting point of greatness in terms of entrepreneurship. And then, of course, I believe we're made in God's image. And if you look at God, he is the most creative force above. I mean, he put unspeakably creative. And I believe that he's passed that gift on to us as human beings. And so I don't know if that answered, but it's a loaded question. And I love your reference to Walt Disney, because when you think of creativity, what a great example. He went to Orange County and he saw nothing but, orange grove, but he had a vision that came into fruition. And yes, he had only a few dollars in his pocket, but he had a big dream. And look at where Disney is today. So what a legacy. And that's one of the reasons also that we have the Goal Achievers Summit in Orlando at the end of the year, is somewhat as a tribute to Walt Disney and his Imagineering and creativity, because that's in all of us. And it's a beautiful thing to foster.
The one thing that I love about Disney, when you go to any theme park, there's a statue of Disney, and he's always holding Mickey's hand. And that's just, to me, a testimony. Remember where you came from, right?
Yeah.
Remember the seed
Yes.
that sparked this amazing ecosystem that we're experiencing now. I mean, even how forward thinking they were in the 60s and 70s with holograms
Yes.
and robotics, all of that technology. When you went to the theme parks, it's like, and it was so real, right? We're like, how is this happening? The animatronics and all of this back then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can only imagine what their R&D department is developing for the next 5-10 years. It's
I believe we're living in an age of incredible prosperity, and than any other time in history. We have at our disposal so much to give and to tap into. And I'm not even going to go into the AI discussion because I'm no expert, but I think that we can tap into that in a way that really adds value to others rather than take away, opportunities. And it's just repositioning our thinking, in terms of that resource that's available to us. And then when I think of those impossibilities, the Wright brothers, right, who were laughed at, are you kidding me? Like, put a machine up in the air and fly like the birds. I mean, but there are so many examples of the breakthroughs that we can make if we just open up our minds.
Yeah. Exactly. And I always tell people success leaves clues. And I'm going to stick on Disney for a second, because, again, people are changing, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Well, Disney, started off in animation, started off in film. You had the very first Technicolor, which was Snow White.
Yes.
In 1936. And then what happens? You have World War II.
Yes.
And they could have just packed up and said, I'm done.
Yeah.
But they said, wait a minute, what business are we in?
Yeah.
We're in the film business. We're in providing an experience.
Yeah.
And they partnered with, the Department of Defense, War Department now, and provided the propaganda films that were shared.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to find a way to not pack our bags and go home, but say, okay, what business am I in? And is there a problem? As you mentioned, we're problem solvers. Is there a problem I can solve?
Yes.
Right. And bring that new idea, that new concept to the table. But
Yes.
so a lot of people are afraid to step outside the box, to do something different, to be that salmon swimming upstream. They want to follow the masses because that's what's comfortable.
Yeah.
Is Goal Achievers an organization of comfort or disruption?
Oh, it's certainly not of comfort, but comfort in the different ways that if you do the hard things now, you'll enjoy the comfort later, and the benefits of your labor versus the uncomfort of not doing anything, for your business or of your life. But yes, it's to foster creativity, to really focus, really a central word of Goal Achievers is goals. Goals have a way of anchoring you, have a way of giving you a sense of direction and clarity and power and purpose. And that's why we have our big event at the end of the year between Christmas and New Year's. Oftentimes people are reflecting at that time as things slow down. They're looking forward to a new year. And that overhanging question is, what's going to be different next year to this year? And oftentimes people just throw it up to resolution. I resolve to lose 20 pounds or whatever that goal, that thought is. But goals are different than resolutions. Resolutions end up, in the wastebasket of hopes, 10 days into January. But goals give you a center, a means where you can get really centered, clear, and then begin moving towards the achievement of that goal with a deadline, of course.
We're going to be right back with Phil Taylor in our conversation Beyond the Goal, Building a Life of Impact. And I heard what you said. You get together right around the holiday season. So I'm going to unpackage that a little bit more and see how we can get people to understand that mindset, that direction, vision, growth, and movement towards our goal never truly stops unless you do. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, so we're back with Phil Taylor, and we're talking about Goal Achievers, his entire vision for this organization, this movement. And you just mentioned before we went to break that you have your main event in October, and it's right towards the end of the year.
December, LaWanna.
What did I say?
October. I
said October. I don't know. I know we've been in meetings and you've been hung up on me. I don't know why I'm.
I do remember the May thing that I seem to have been cut up with instead of July. That's a little inside joke right there, but yes.
Thank you for correcting me. Yes, in December.
Yes.
When people are in the festive holiday mode, and you're saying we're having this end of year business event.
Yes.
What would cause someone to say, yeah, I'm gonna step away from family for a minute, or maybe family can come, I don't know, and experience an end of year moment of stretch, of visioning, and of momentum building?
Yeah. Our event is December 29th and 30th, and it's really positioned as a tradition now, year in and year out. And one of the things that was said to us, or to me constantly, is are you crazy? You must be crazy to be putting on an event at that time of the year. Nobody puts an event at that time of the year. I mean, nobody. And the more that people were saying you're crazy, this won't work, the more I was encouraged and realized we were onto something very special. And I think that that's a distinctive indication that maybe you're onto something when people start calling you crazy. Because as you look at the great innovators of this world, they've all been told that at some point or another. And so it's a very audacious date, but a very purposeful date as well, because it is that time of year between Christmas and New Year where people are now heightened in terms of their awareness of where they are in terms of life and in business and where they want to go. They're in a reflective mode. Things slow down and they're in a mode of anticipation as we go into the new year. And so we really tap into the vein of particular businesses that are goal oriented. We need to be goal oriented in order to move forward, and then provide a platform where they can get renewed, recharge, learn, get updated with insights, network, and connect with other like-minded individuals, and then really refine their goals and polish their goals, and then go into the new year with a sense of power, purpose, clarity as a result of that. And of course, the relationships. Goal achievers is another term for a term coined by Napoleon Hill called the mastermind. And it's so important to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, and you can accomplish so much more by working together than to trying to do it alone. And so that really, in a sense, is what's behind that timing. And of course, we have our stops along the way. The Goal Achiever Summit is on Fridays, and we're sweeping the country. We had a wonderful event in Denver. We're looking forward to Chicago and Denver and Phoenix and Seattle, Atlanta, with a vision of seeing this movement, as you so beautifully put it, grow in order to give people a sense of hope. But there's New Year's traditions. There's the New York Times Square where the ball drops, and there's other. But this is a new tradition for purpose-driven individuals where they can come into this beautiful environment, warm environment, get out of the cold of Chicago and New York and Boston. If you're living out there, give yourself a break, bring your spouse, bring your kids, enjoy everything that Orlando has to do, and then just prepare your mind and your heart in a very purpose-driven, productive way, like there is none other. And so this is bringing hope to individuals. So this is for individuals who are really looking for clarity and hope. And like you said, it's a movement. It's not a series of events. It's a movement of hope that is sweeping America and reigniting that flame that's in all of us, which oftentimes dims, but it's still there.
You have five pillars for goal achievers. So vision, leadership, execution, mindset, and community. And when we think about those pillars and how they all have, they can work independently, but collectively,
Yes.
they strengthen you. Do you find that there's any one pillar in particularly today where leaders tend to either take it for granted, not lean into it as much as they should?
Well, I really believe that we are designed in our best when our focus is on others. Every great leader, you talked about the universal principles, no matter what your faith or religion is, or if you have one or not, it is to treat other people like you want to be treated. That principle of the golden rule is embedded in every great philosophy and religion. So that's the very basic premise, is to treat other people as you would want to be treated. And I think that's an internal battle. Are we looking to people with genuine care and respect? Are we focused on their interest? And I think human nature is defaulted to be self-serving and self-seeking. And I really believe that we are at our best when we're focused on bringing the best in others and not ourselves. And I would bring it even to another level. Not only treat yourself as you'd want to be treated, but my guide for living tells me to treat other and see other people as being more important than yourself. Now that's a hyper level, of paradoxical approach to life. But as Emerson said, one of the great philosophers of our age, said one of the most beautiful compensations in life is you cannot sincerely help another person without helping yourself. It's one of those things, one of those beautiful principles and paradoxes to life, that when we're focused on others, we're actually helping ourselves, you know.
Yeah,
And,
no, I love what you're saying, and there are two recent books that came out probably in the last couple years.
yeah.
One is by Dr. Mosongo Mokwa, and it's called The Leader of Significance, and the other is by Dr. Joel Smith, and it's called The Leadership Advantage. And the premise of both of these books is what you just said, right? It's understanding who you are, how you show up, how you serve, going beyond the concept of servant leader, but really understanding the heart of your people, understanding their limits, their fears. How do you show up for them in times of crisis and help guide them? Taking that responsibility. So the face of leaders is starting to change. I think the environment is demanding that the face of leadership change.
Yes, absolutely. And the more authentic it is, the more powerful it is. So then the question comes, what about myself? What do I need to change about myself in order to be a more effective leader? And not look to others and how they need to be changed, but what is it in me that needs to be changed? And then that's a deep reflective question to ask. And if one can find the answer to that and tap into the source, which empowers an individual to be that kind of leader, then you've got it. Then you've got it. And as many people said, there's only one way to lead, and that's through example. People are looking to you. And and one of the great people that does that, by the way, that just I text with this morning, I'll text with almost every day. I love him so much, like a brother, is Sean Fair. The leader of the Great Leadership Experience Tour. Man, not only does he bring out the best in others, but he leads through example. So much so I shared with him today. I said, Sean, I've got a keynote. It's called the Sean Fair Effect, and because he's got it. He's got what it takes to be a great leader, and then he just breathes it into others. And so we're here together because of Sean Fair, bless his heart, and his, and so am I that kind of leader, that brings hope to others and brings out the best in others.
Leadership Experience Tour, it's a fantastic opportunity.
The quality of the product that Sean puts together is top notch.
Helps people to connect. It's an experience.
You're going to get way more out of it than you expected.
Value.
The value is just
Information with manifestation. That's the leadership tour.
He does teach people how to become great speakers.
Being attached to him has grown my speaking business already. Don't wait, just do it.
Yes, and
It's the constant challenge, I think.
no, it is, and I want to just encourage to our listening audience. We're here with Phil Taylor, and we're talking about beyond the goal, building a life of impact, and that a leader isn't just the title you hold. We know it's everything but that. Titles fade, accomplishments get dusty, but a leader is enduring, and it's, again, how do you show up for your family, for your community, and then ultimately in the position that you have. And I heard a long time ago, and I love this. They said a true effective leader, one that's positive, because we have leaders that can be on the other side, but a positive leader is one who has people follow him or her doing the uncomfortable or uncomfortable things willingly.
Yeah.
Right? Because somehow they know you're in here with me. And the one thing that I love, going back, I love history, but during World War II, so with England and the royal family, they could have stayed, in their sanctuary in the palace.
Yeah.
But they came down to the people.
Yes.
And just that, and even seeing the film today, it shifted the mindset of the people. It didn't change the circumstance, but the mindset of the people saw that, hey, our leader, our monarchy, they're here with us. They see us. And we saw that with George Bush and in this country with 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, he went down to ground zero. Yes. When it was still a very unstable, unsafe place to be, he went down there. And I think a leader is willing to step into some of the most challenging foxhole situations with the people. They don't just send the people, but they are with the people.
Yeah. Unquestionably. And I think, and I won't bring the answer to up, but I would challenge our listeners to ask this question to themselves. In all of history, look through history. Who in your mind was the greatest leader of all? Who in your mind is the greatest influencer of all time? And then to go back and study that person and do research on the principles that made him or her the great leader that they are.
I love that. And the one thing about that is there's no right or wrong answer, right? It's about your path and where that influence came from.
You know, the one who influenced my life the most talked in terms of not only parables, but paradoxes. And one of the great paradoxes, you know, one of the things that is in the heart, the yearning is how, you know, greatness. How can I be how could I achieve greatness? And my master and leader said, well, the greatest among you will be your servant. The first will be the last, and the last will be first. Another great paradox. A man who washed the feet of his disciples. You know, that as you said, did not tell them what to do, but lived the message in a very authentic way. And he was with people.
Agreed. I often tell people that your integrity is something that is like your invisible force. It's people see it. You may not think they see it. And how are you showing up? Again, tapping into, as you're giving, you know, these biblical examples.
Yeah.
I think your truth, as you said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yes. Your truth comes out.
It does.
You can't hide it. You may think you're fooling people, but it's very, very evident. And I think all of us, no matter where you stand, are called to have a love walk. And to protect humanity and to take our gifts and talents and skills and to make things better for the next generation. We have a responsibility, and that's my truth. That's my belief. And I'm not ashamed to challenge people to do that, to say, you know, why? Let's not always look at self.
Yeah. And you touched on another angle, another adage. We've all heard it. You know, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him how to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. A Chinese proverb with such great insight. And I think that comes back to goal achievers. You know, yes, it is a kind thing. It's a compassionate thing to give a man a fish. No question about it. But what about the next day and the next day and the next day? But if you really care and love the people whom you serve, you will teach them how to fish. And that again speaks to the heart of goal achievers. We want to not only be imparters of goodness, but we want to be able to impart an understanding of the value of each attendee, the gifts that they have, to through our experts perhaps lead the way by unselfishly teaching them how to be the better version of themselves in business so that they can be more productive and impactful in this world.
I have a bit of a challenging question for you.
Love challenges.
We are in an age where we are inundated with information.
Yes.
I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of bytes of information are coming at us from all different lanes.
Yes.
How can a leader today siphon through that and latch onto wisdom?
Oh, love that question. My, do I love that question. Okay. Well, LaWanna, every day I read this book. It's called the Book of Proverbs. It was written about 4,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago by a man who was extremely successful, King Solomon. And there's 31 chapters in this book, and most months come with 31 days. And I'll just share what helps me is that every day, as I did today, being the 16th, I read a chapter that's congruent with the day of the month and do it over. And so yesterday I read the 15th, tomorrow I'll read the 17th chapter. And it's so interesting because in this fast moving world of AI and technology, it's incredible the advancements that we have made. Unbelievable. If someone 2,000 years ago looked at what was happening today, or even 200 years ago looked at what's happening today, or even 50 years ago looked at what's happening today, they would be amazed. But one thing that hasn't changed in 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years is human nature. That has not changed. It's the same. It is today as it was when Solomon lived. And when I read this book over and over again, it serves as a guide, a practical guide for treating other people and living a life of wisdom as you so well brought up. It is a guide for wisdom. And I cannot emphasize, no matter what your religion is, whatever your background is, you will serve yourself well and enjoy just going through one chapter of the Book of Proverbs every day. And for me, it puts me in the mindset that I feel really prepares me for the day. And I'd love to impart that call and call to action to those who are open to it. That's just my take.
I love that. And again, we're talking about ancient truths, ancient wisdom.
Yes.
Right? And you're right. You look at it and there's nothing new under the sun, and you see applications. It helps you to understand yourself a little better.
So good.
Give yourself some grace and space as well as to others. And I love what you said. The one thing that doesn't change is human nature. We evolve, right? We're more technologically savvy, scientifically advanced. But at the end of the day, we're just people.
Yeah.
Little selfish, low creatures running around.
we are. And can I impart a little gift to your listeners? Would that be all right? I didn't come preparing to give this gift, or it just came to mind. Would that be all right if I made an offer?
Yes. I want to ask you one more question, then I want to turn it over to you to give your final thoughts and do that offer. Is that okay?
Okay. And it doesn't cost anybody any money, by the way, at all. Zero. So hold back. Yeah.
With all the challenges that we're facing today as entrepreneurs, business owners, whether it's finance, understanding pricing, positioning, structure, finding that ideal client, is Goal Achievers designed, because you mentioned you have these teachable platforms where experts come in, but is it designed to actually bring in current reality into the equation, into the conversation, or does it stay on the safe lane of I'm just giving you these teachable insights and principles, but I'm not showing you how to navigate in the real world?
Oh, no. Very much the opposite. If you go to goalachieverssummit.com, you'll see the agenda, and there's a very intentional, purposeful journey throughout the experience of that day. And of course, in Orlando, it's a 2-day event that's expanded on that. But it takes you from really the beginning of your goal, and then these 10 experts on these subject matters will take you on that journey, that by the end of the day, you gain clarity and are equipped with the direction and the tools and the know-how to be able to achieve your goals. So it's not just talking in principles and inspiration. There's a very practical application to it. And that's why we bring in the brightest and the best that we know of to be able to pour into people in that manner. And it's very authentic. It's very substantive. And so, yes. And part of that is keep forward thinking, to keep being innovative and creative, and often ask that question, how am I doing? How could I do it better? What are the ways in which I could do this in a more impactful, more efficient way to deliver more value? Or how can I problem solve to be able to impart a solution to those and it's the innovators, or it's the ones that are constantly never ending improvement, that are the ones that are going to be at the cutting edge and are going to continue succeeding. And a quick example of complacency is unfortunately Blockbuster. Netflix had this, as technology was evolving, had had a vision in terms of how things could be delivered to the consumer. But Blockbuster, was very, very, very successful. And yet, and in fact, had the opportunity to buy Netflix at a certain time when they were desperate, but said, no, we're successful. We're doing well just the way we are, but where are they today? And that's because they sat on their, they became complacency. Yeah. So watch complacency, and I think one of the most dangerous things is actually success in a certain way, where you think that you've arrived. Never stop learning, never stop growing, never stop having an open mind, because when we stop learning and growing, we start dying. As Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, not the founder of McDonald's, but the innovator of McDonald's.
Yes.
The innovator of McDonald's says, either you're green and growing or ripe and rotting. Where are you? Are you green and growing, or are you ripe and rotting?
We'll be back in just a moment. One of the things with Business and Financial Raw Talk, we focus on both men and women in their business lane, but we want to give a salute out to women, because we know right now women have been disproportionately affected by a lot of the changes happening here in the U.S. We hear you, we see you, and you might want to plug in the Goal Achievers to rise above the fray. We'll be right back.
Business and Financial Raw Talk, a no-holds-barred forum for leaders and innovators, with award-winning business strategist and financial analyst LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group. With Raw Talk, we are empowering women to rise and succeed in business and finances, and improve the world for the next generation. Get ready to get raw and real. Live each Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
All right, Rick. Well, Phil, thinking about Rick. And who is Rick? I don't know. That's funny.
A lot of good Ricks out there. I know there are.
I don't know. Maybe he's going to be a business connection. But Phil, I'm going to turn it over to you for a few minutes to close us out and to share your offer with our audience.
Yes, thank you, LaWanna, and really, it's really simple. And I just thought of this as we were talking on this discussion, and that's the value of wisdom. And as we were getting into this conversation, LaWanna, and touching on the wisdom of the ages and the wisdom of Solomon, and how he wrote this book, the book of Proverbs, just a wonderful, powerful book. And this is a journal. It's just basically the book of Proverbs with blank pages to make notes on it. And what I found very helpful is to read a chapter each day at the beginning of the day, and the principles that are imparted on in this book then are oftentimes they show up that day. And it's just a wonderful way to learn and to grow. And LaWanna, we didn't talk about this. I didn't think about it until now, but I would like to send you a box of 25 of these journals for you to impart to your listeners. And the first 25 people that ask for it, you can just deliver it to them or let us deliver it to them. We're not interested in your email or your address. We just want you to be blessed by this wonderful book that breathes direction in life to you. And I really believe that this is so foundational. Within these pages, I believe there's an anchor verse that I certainly look to. And if you allow me to share it with you, it's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding, but in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. As far as Goal Achievers is concerned, we'd love to have you at our summits, be it regional or in Orlando. And you're welcome to visit our website at goalachieversummit.com. And if there's anything that we can do to make your decision easier or to help you or to encourage you, please write to me personally, phil@goalachieversummit.com. I'll do my very best to get back to you. And we're in the business of helping other people, no strings attached. And it's just been a joy and a privilege to have this time with you, LaWanna, and your listeners. May God bless you and all of you.
Thank you so much, Phil. And you'll see above me is a QR code for you to just access Goal Achievers. So goalachieversummit.com, get more information, find out all the great places that they will be visiting. And you can either come there. I believe there is also a way to tap into some of your events virtually. So please go to the link and find out more. Well, Phil, this has been amazing. Thank you for your time. And I just want to encourage everyone who is watching this, just remember that your life was designed for this space and time.
Yes.
It's up to you to design your lane, to stay committed, to maintain your focus, yes, and to ensure that your goal, and believe your goal, is going to improve the world. But you have to take the time. It's one step at a time, one strategy at a time, one life at a time. And remember that in life and in business, when your vision intersects opportunity, success is inevitable. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you, LaWanna, and all of you. Blessings.